So Python has a way to put definition in a file and use them in a script or in an interactive instance of the interpreter. Such a file is called a module. Python offers the concept module because it clearly understands any application with code, instructions, and data will tend to grow. And growing code is in fact a growing problem. A larger code always means tougher maintenance. Searching for a bug is always easier where the code is smaller, just as finding a mechanical breakage or problem in a simple small machine is easy. Whereas it will be difficult in case of heavy equipment, large machines. So what is the solution? The solution is highlighted here. Divide all the tasks among the developers. Join all the created parts into one working whole. Each of these parts can be most likely divided into smaller units, modules, or bifurcations, or a team, or a work, and so on. Such a process is often called as decomposition. So big, larger, and complex work are divided into smaller units, smaller parts, and they have been assigned to independent team, which will be eventually solved in easier way. For example, another example, many of you might have involved in your department events, rather to be a Magnovite first. So apart from the head, president or secretary, there will be various committees like reception committee, registration committee, transportation committee, coding, arrangements, events, etc., etc. So it will be easier when there is a coordinator for each event, and coordinator will have further a team they manage appropriately. So for the head or the president or the organizing secretary, task is reduced by just updating with the team heads or the coordinators. So divide all the tasks among the developers rather than dumping the entire work to a single person or a one team. Assign the responsibilities, ensure that it has been fulfilled, and collect it, integrate the fulfilled or completed task, join, and it will be integrated into a whole, working whole. This is how the work carried out in the industry. Now the question is how to divide a piece of software into separate, isn't it? We cannot simply, as the classification, bifurcation is good. Definitely, if the work is big, difficult, and complex, there is no secondary thought. It must be divided. It must be bifurcated. But how? How to divide a piece of application or a software into separate? At the same time, they should be meaningful. The division or the bifurcation of the work should be meaningful without defeating the purpose of the work. Right? And the answer is modules. Modules are the answer for these queries. Right? Is it clear? Have you understood the basic definition and concepts of modules? Any doubts? So computer applications are built with code, instruction, and data. And every application, the code, instructions, and data has a tendency to grow. If your code does not grow, then it is probably completely unusable and it will be abandoned. So a real wanted and widely used code develops continuously as both users' demands and users' expectations. So a code which is not able to respond to users' need will be forgotten quickly and instantly replaced with a new, better, and more flexible code. A completion is a transition state and usually passes quickly to the next level after level. Python itself is a good example of how to the rule acts in the form of modules. Fine. Having understood the concept definitions of a model, next, how to make use of the model. Modules are handled. Handling of module consists of two different issues. One, use the already existing, available customized models. Number two, create a brand new model. Define, create a brand new model. So in these two ways, it can be done. Modules are handled with the help of already existing one. If the existing one is not, if the existing one does not have the features, characteristics or properties to cover the aspects of the work, then a new model can be created. So the first happens, first one is existing model. The first happens when we want to use an already existing model written by someone else or created by ourselves during the work on some other project. In this case, we are modules user. In this case, we are modules user models. Whereas the second case, this occurs when we want to create a brand new model either for our own use or to make other programs easier, simpler. So we are the modules supplier in this case. We are the modules supplier. If we create and offer to others, then it is called supplier. So modules can be handled with two methods. One, use the already existing model. The second approach could be develop a new one and help others supply, which could be used for future references. So in these two ways, modules can be handled. A module is identified by its name. As we had understood the concept of module definition and how to create, now how to understand, learn. A module is identified by its name. All these modules, along with the built-in functions, form a Python standard libraries. So each module consists of entities. A module will have a unique name, module name, as we had defined the functions now. Function definition starts with the keyword def followed by function name. Similarly, a module is identified by its name, unique name, module name, which consists of a large number of entities. These entities include functions, variables, constants, classes, and objects. Like a book, when we open a book, at the outset, books, every book seems to be a single unit. But we open the book, we may find many chapters, and each chapter will have a topic, several topics. Similarly, a module is a very big name. In the module, we could find functions, variables, constants, classes, objects, and so on. So collectively, all the modules are called Python standard library. Is it clear? So module could be used, handled with the help of existing. Otherwise, the user has the liberty to create a new. And every module is identified by its unique name. This module is a composition of collection of a lot more entities. Examples are functions, variable, constant, classes, and object. Collectively, they are called a Python standard library. So one of the most frequently used module is called math. So its name speaks for itself, math. It is clearly understood. So what we understood from the math, this module may contain a rich collection of entities, not only functions, but also all the mathematical operations, functions like sine functions, sine, cos, tan, log. So when this module is used, then with the help of this definition, the sine function, logarithmic functions, all the mathematical functions could be used, applied when we use this identifier math. Okay. So the module name is math, which supports all the mathematical functions existing in it. That could be retrieved from the Python standard library. As I said, a simple example is sine, cos, tan, log. These functions are implemented with the help of the definition called math module. Any doubts? Okay. Now, how to import the model? How to use this model in our program? To make a model usable, we must import, use the keyword import into the statements, instructions, or code. It's similar to, if you like to refer a book, what you do, we just pick it from the shelf. Picking from the shelf will provide an access to the book. So picking from the shelf is nothing but defining it as a statement, import. So importing a model is done by instruction named import. Import, please note, import is a keyword. By using this keyword in an instruction, a statement, we can use the appropriate modules, right? So the simplest way to import a particular module is to use the import instruction like this. The instruction starts with the keyword import, followed by the module name, as I mentioned, math, comma, sys. So all these functions, mathematical functions, and other entities. This entities includes, as I mentioned, functions, variables, constants, classes, and objects, which are all related to math and sys, can be supported in the programming statement. We cannot directly write print sine of pi by 2. That will throw an error because sine is a mathematical function. In order to use or execute a statement which has mathematical functions, they must be defined with the help of import statements. So the simplest way to import a particular module is to use the instruction import, followed by import is a keyword, followed by the module name, math and sys. Please note, import is a keyword. The name of the module which is subject to import followed and separated by comma. We can import any number of modules separated by comma. Otherwise, we can have two different statements, import math, import sys, and so on. So these instructions may be located anywhere in the code. Usually it appears at the top, but it may be located anywhere in the code, but it must be placed before the first use of any of the module's entities. If we want to import more than one module, then we can do it by repeating the import class or by listing the modules after the import keyword separated by commas. So this instruction, import math comma sys, imports two modules. First, the one named math, and then the second named sys, sys. We need to become familiar with this important terms, math and sys, with the help of import, right? Next, another important concept is term is called namespace. What is a namespace? A namespace is a space in which some name exists and the name does not conflict with each other. Some names exist. Kindly note, names exist. Names means plural form. So entities are identifiers which may be repeated, okay, but they should not conflict with each other. It may look a little confusing. I'll check with an example. I said a namespace is a space in which some names exist and the names don't conflict with each other. Now look at this figure. There are not two different objects of the same name. We can say that this Smith is a social group, Jones another social group, and the third Curie. We have Jane, the name exists in the group, right? In the group Smith, the group Smith, and another group Jones. We have Mark, appears twice in the Jones group and the Curie group. We can say that each social group is a namespace. Smith, namespace 1, Jones, namespace 2, Curie, namespace 3. The group tends to name each of its members in a unique way. The repetition may occur in different groups, but not in the same groups. Same name could be used in different groups. Okay, so inside a certain namespace, in Smith, each name must remain unique. Okay. So a namespace is a space in which names exist. So it's a complete model. A model is a composition of different entities. For example, they are called as namespace. Okay, the members of the name could be appear in different namespace. As I said, a member Jane in a Smith namespace also may appear in somewhere else. Okay, Jane appears in Jones or Curie or more than one. So with this, we can avoid the conflict. In real-time problems, applications, we can have the same name appears in different namespaces. So when we program, it will be difficult. We get in conflict. Okay. For example, in C programming, int, when we declare a variables, integer int a comma b comma c, finally ended with a colon. We cannot again further another variable a because it is already defined. This is not permitted. But in real-time applications, there are several hundreds and thousands of people will be having the same name. They cannot be left out. They cannot be removed. Then it cannot be considered as a full-fledged application. There will be always a conflict issues in the real-time applications. So this object-oriented programming gives a provision to solve effectively, to avoid the conflict with the help of namespace. So as a model, we can have a separate namespace and this conflict of two or more times the same names which exist appears repeatedly are avoided. Right? Now how to access it? Defining we can do it because they are all in with a different namespace. When we access, the real problem comes when we are accessing. If the module, how to access? If the module of a specified name exists and is accessible, Python imports all its contents. That is, all the names defined in the module becomes known. Okay. For example, we have three methods to defining a namespace. Number one, the name of the module. Okay, unique name followed by a dot and the name of the entity. So this means that we can have our own entity's name, which won't be affected by import in any way. For example, math.py, math.sine. So the pi and sine are part of a mathematical functions. We already seen math is a module. It's a part of Python standard library function. Sine, cos, tan, and so on were all part of math modules. So the namespace is defined as the module name, a dot, followed by the entity pi. So pi and sine are part of module. Math is a big encapsulated module where pi and sine are part of this module. Sine, cos, tan, or we can say members of the module. This is one way. Method 2, we can import the syntax precisely points out which modules or entities are acceptable in the code by using another keyword called from. From math, import to pi. So this instruction consists of 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1, the keyword from. Number 2, the module name math. Third, another keyword import. And the fourth, entity, the name or list of the entities which is being imported into the namespace. This is the second method. We have third method. This is more aggressive form of the previously one. From module import asterisk. What does mean asterisk? Please note, in the previously we have precisely selected pi. All we wanted is pi because math is a very big math is a model which supports collective all functions, mathematical functions. When we import the functions and associated input data, everything is added into the statement. Import math will have the link of the entire module. But we are interested to calculate only pi functions. What is the reason? Why should we encapsulate or add the complete package? It's not at all required. Our objective is to calculate or manipulate or involve our selected functions like pi or sine or cos. We require the import of math. In math, what is expected? The usage of application of pi and sine. So we can selectively make and ease the processors. Okay, when we import math, the processor will speed the work will have a more. When we make it precisely, the processor's work is reduced, isn't it? So from the math, it will select only pi instead of the complete math model. So that is what the second method, precisely points, which is required, that only will do. From math, import pi, only pi. The function pi, mathematical function, will be imported to the statement. We don't want the entire model to have connected with this statements. It's not at all required. This avoids the usage of resources. Right? The third method is a more aggressive, star. If you type a star.star in the DOS command, that will list all the files in your laptop or desktop. So we don't want any specific. We would like to have everything done with the help of star. So the name of the entity is replaced with the single star instead of pi or sine or cos. So such instruction import star will have the inclusive of all the modules, complete modules. Not only math, all the modules, entire Python standard library functions are imported which means the processor will have an extra work load that will consume a lot of information. More time is required. If you are specific, we can have this indication. If you don't know, it's an aggressive method. Okay, so Python supports, but it is not preferred because we should not make the processor to work more. Okay, so a clear planning is required. What is required for the application? Those things could be added, imported. Fine. If sometimes the system may hang because of the excessive workload from the processors. If RAM works more, obviously its speeds become down. If it is a multiprocessing, multitasking environment, then we cannot expect the output. When several processes are supported with such programming, obviously the system hangs. Right? So it's an aggressive method to import because asterisk will import all the entities supported in the Python standard library. We should not do it. Right? It is not a, it may be convenient for us because our work is not to select or pick. Just we can have it, enter. Yes, we want everything. It's like subscribing, no? Subscribing the satellite channels. We subscribe everything, all we need to pay more. If we pay 1,500 rupees, we'll be able to watch all the channels. But do we have time to do? No. It's a waste of money. It's a convenient, yes, subscribe everything, but it will cost more. So it is it safe or unsafe? It is definitely unsafe. It may be used in a programming statement as a temporary solution, but at the time of completion, this statement must be altered, changed. So instead of asterisks, we can have the appropriate entity specified in the statement. Fine. So namespace are defined in three methods. Number one, be specific. Number two, precise. Number three, the third method is aggressive form, where we have the inclusive of all the entities with the help of asterisk. Fine. Okay. So we have another special case in the importing model. Creating an alias is done together with importing the model. So the previous examples we have discussed import module, the module name, right? Math. So Python supports have an alternative name. Alias means substitute name with the help of the keyword alias. The form syntax is import module as alias. The module identifies the original module name of the module as alias, could be an alternative name. For example, import math, we have seen math model as M. So instead of accessing math.py, we can have the use of the alternative name M. So in this case, M is replaced with the module name math. So import M instead of the original module name math. That could be done with the help of the keyword as. Import math as M. So print M dot sign M.py divided by 2. So instead of using math, math, it is replaced by an alternative name. Okay. So that could be also done with the help of Python programming. Another example, from math, import pi as pi, sin as sin. So pi and sin are functions, part of mathematical model. The keywords pi and sin are replaced with alternative names, sine and pi. So we can have in some cases, the mathematical functions may be large. They are replaced with a shortcut name, an abbreviation with the help of alias. So Python supports creating an alternative name while importing the model that could be defined. Okay. So MATH, the model name, is replaced with a single letter M. A simple example to describe the alias concept. Right. So that's all. Let us stop here and let us switch on to PyCharm editor to check these simple instructions. So in this session, we have covered the 4 topics in the first chapter. We started with defining the model, how to make use of a model, importing the model by using the instruction keyword called import, and also namespace, defining a namespace, and the 3 methods. Method 1, generic, method 2, specific, and the method 3, okay, which imports the complete part. Okay. Now, now I'll switch to okay. The statements. Import math. Print math.sine, math.py. Okay. Math.py. We know pi is equal to 180. Math.py will result 180 divided by 2, 9. So math.sine of 90, we expect the output is 1 or 1.0, isn't it? So 1.0. Print math.sine of math.py divided by 2. 180 divided by 2 is 90. Since sine and pi are functions coming under the mathematical model, so we need to specify, okay, with the module name dot and the entity name sine, right? Okay. We have another example, as I mentioned. From math, import sine and pi. Be specific. So this statement, we import complete mathematical model. Instead, we can have a specific import of a sine and pi. So this will help. Only picking this 2 mathematical functions from the specified model. Print sine of pi by 2. This is another way, alternative method, which again results the same thing, right? If you like to have, let us add one more value, cos, right? And change into cos. We know cos 90 is equal to 0, right? Cos 0 is cos 90. Okay. Cos of pi, cos of 90 shows some other values. Okay, fine. Let's check. Okay. And alias, print pi as pi, and sin is replaced by the keyword sine. Run the word. Okay. So the sine into pi by 2, which is results 1.0. Right? Okay. So we have covered the first 4 topics, and let us have a break and let us continue the topic 5 and 6 in the next session.